Ronnie, can you tell them about your father's arm sticking out?
There was a time we went to the Garden Tomb. Sometimes when we went to Israel, they would be having something going on in the Garden Tomb, and sometimes we'd have to go somewhere else and find other things to do while they were having meetings and stuff.
What year was this? What year? 78?
Probably 78 or 9. About 78 or 79, we were walking in the Garden Tomb, and we were just walking along, and some friend of a man was with us, and my brother and my dad, and we were walking along the sidewalk in there, and my dad's arm just reached up, and he goes, "That's Jeremiah's grotto, and the Ark of the Covenant's in there." And we looked over, and it was just a big trash heap, where a pit where they had filled it with trash and like dead cats and rats, and it was just a mess. And that's when he first realized, and he didn't even know why he stuck his arm out, but we had been praying about God to show us what to do, and that was just how God answered his prayer. He showed him right to it. You know, it seemed like everything that my dad found, God led him right to it. So there was never any real problem. Even in the Red Sea, when we went for the golden chariot wheel, we found it right away. It's just amazing how God let people as untrained as we are to be a part of this.
Can you tell them about the taxi stopping 3 times, searching for Noah's Ark?
Oh yeah, when we first went to Turkey.
Can you hold on one minute?
Oh yes.
¿Quieres añadir algo más?
You have?
About the taxi.
He was asking about the first trip when we went to look for Noah's Ark in Turkey, our very first trip overseas. When we got there, all we had was an aerial photograph from the book, the Ark file, and we didn't have like a compass or the map coordinates or anything, or any way to know which direction to go once we got to Turkey. And we were on a train and going through all these mountains, and then we got down to the town Dogobazit or something like that, and we were driving in a taxi, and my dad said, "Guys, there is no way we're going to be able to know which direction to even start looking." And he said, "We really need to say a prayer that God will show us where to look or something," because we had no idea which direction. And shortly after we all 3 said a prayer, the taxi cab died on the side of the road. The lights went out and everything, the gas shut off, everything just quit. And so we had to pull over, and we sat there for a while, and Dad said, "Well, guys, you know, that's kind of weird. It happened right after we prayed." So he told us to set up a big pile of rocks on the side of the road to mark where the car had stopped. And so we did that and sat there for a few minutes, and then the car just started back up. And so we drove on down the road a ways, and it died again. Lights went out and everything. And same thing again, we put a stack of rocks on the side of the road just in case. And so the car started back up again for no reason. And so we drove on, and then the 3rd time it stopped, and we piled up the rocks again. And by that time we thought the car was just messed up, you know. And anyway, after that we drove on back into town, and the next day when we rented a cab and went back out to the rocks, that's where we hiked out from, and that's where we found the anchor stones and the graveyard where Noah's wife was buried. And we didn't quite get to Noah's Ark that first trip, but we were very close. But it's just amazing how God stopped that car right where it needed to stop to show us.
Well, parece ser que en un viaje a Turquía.
Muy interesante. Entonces, para ti no hay duda de que los descubrimientos de tu padre fueron totalmente dirigidos por Dios.
Yes, he guided us every step. There is nothing we could have done without him. And without Dad raising us in our faith and praying, we could have never got close to finding any of this without God.